everybody. Welcome to episode 74 of Psycho's Platters. I hope everybody has had themselves a decent week of crate digging and life in general. I don't exactly have a lot of vinyl in this particular episode. I've got maybe about a half a dozen 45s I'm going to show you, and actually, for once, some hair metal cassette tapes that I managed to pick up dirt cheap as well, and I'll get to that in a little bit too. Like I said, I'm going to do 45s and that in this episode, and then probably tomorrow I think I'm going to do another episode of just albums and some interesting autograph type material I want to show you too. So let's start off with the 45s a little bit. I don't really know a heck of a lot about this one. This one here, though, from 1971 on Buddha Records. Do you know what time it is? From the Circa 58 and the Peanut Gallery. Yeah, that's right. It's supposed to be a takeoff on It's Howdy Doody time. If you ever watched Howdy Doody when you were a kid, I got the 70s version. There was a 50s version, okay, and then it died. And in the 70s, they brought it back for a little bit with everybody, or mostly everybody. So I'll be interested to hear that. Anything on Buddha, I'll probably take a snag at it anyway, because it's mostly bubblegum. Anytime I ever find an Apple record, dang well I'm going to get it, no matter, even if it's if I've already got it in my collection or otherwise. This one here, Mary Hopkin, Those Were the Days. I always liked that song, produced by Paul McCartney, of course. This one, I actually heard about this. I heard it on YouTube before I actually found a copy of this. But this I thought was really, really neat. Sugar on Sunday from The Click. The Click is actually a late 1960s garage band out of Austin, Texas. Interesting take on this. This is actually a Sugar on Sunday is a Tommy James album cut that was never released as a single. Go on YouTube and watch the video. There is a video that actually exists from these guys. But believe it or not, this isn't what really is the treasure of the 45. The B-side is Superman. Now, I don't know if this sounds familiar to you. Go on YouTube and listen to this thing. This is the original version. This is the one that I remember listening to in the 80s from REM. Yeah, REM did a cover of this. Very, very cool. On White Whale. Another label that I have started to like a lot more things. It was more than just the Turtles, kids. I'll tell you that right now. All right, let's see. I had the original of this, but I figured, what the heck? Some new 45s came in. I managed to switch out some of the stuff with some old school company sleeves. No, they didn't match the records, but who cares? I never seen this Capital Starline reissue of Bebop-A-Lula in Lot 11 from Gene Vincent. I just thought it was kind of cool. I got a kick out of that for finding Starlines. And then, of course, I got a Wilson Pickett, Man and a Half, and People Make the World What It Is. And lastly here from 1958, Clyde McPhatter's A Lover's Question. They're a little rough, but, like I said, with some cleaning, it'll do just fine. Now, the next block over from where I live, about a week or two back, they, I asked him about records, and I'll admit, the guy said he had some, but he wasn't planning on selling them. At least not anytime soon. So I'm like, okay, fine. He had a bunch of hair metal cassettes. Now, here's the thing. Okay, hair metal is my weakness. It's one of my big weaknesses. I love 80s and early 90s hair metal. But back then, guys, if you kind of remember, I mean, your vinyl for most of your labels pretty much stopped about 90. Okay, I really just honestly don't recall really any major labels pulling anything past 90, unless maybe there was a record club issue or something like that, and that would be very scarce. So most of the time, by the time you'd catch into the early 90s and such, you'd have to rely on cassettes or CDs for some of the bands. That's just how it was. So I've got a mix of things here, and I guess in no particular order. I got friends of mine that are hair metal people too. So let's see here. How about we'll start off with this one. This was a single of Alice Cooper's House on Fire. Okay, this pretty much was a. I like this track too, off of the Trash album. This was like I think the second single that came off because of course Poison was the big one, right? But this one here, of course, also had a previously unreleased live version of Ballad of Dwight Fry recorded in Cincinnati actually for Westwood One. It's kind of cool. I love singles. I've always been a sucker for them anyway because usually, at least most of the time, you'll find some unreleased studio or live stuff on the B-sides. That's just how it is. Very, very cool. Get that in there. All right. How about the Best of White Lion? Yeah, I remember White Lion. They're the ones that did, oh, here comes the bad singing impression. You know it comes every episode almost. Wait, wait, never gonna. Yeah, okay, anyways. So, basically the lead singer pretty much, Mike Tramp goes out as White Lion in that one. This one's from '92, and it also has, I think like there's some special ones on here too. There's a couple live songs, but you know all the basic hits you wanted are there from '92 on Atlantic. Here's a band that I got into the lesser knowns as much as the major ones, okay, but not many people remember Every Mother's Nightmare. Okay, this one's a little creepy. Cassettes, unfortunately, with the small covers, you can't really tell. But it's called Wake Up Screaming on Arista. This one here was from '93. I like looking at the liner notes of things. Guess who does background vocals on a track or two of this? Jimmy Jamison from Survivor. Yeah, he was all over the place, for studio stuff. So really cool to find also Every Mother's Nightmare. Bad Company, okay? This one here from '92 called The Best of Bad Co. Live. What you hear is what you get. Obviously, Paul Rodgers is the main person, okay, that everybody remembers. I mean, it's classic Bad Co. If you don't have, Paul Rodgers is in that mix, okay? But Paul Rodgers had a solo thing, right? I mean, he also had The Firm. You had a few other things during that mid to late '80s. So they ended up getting Brian Howe. Brian Howe is a lead singer. I like him. He got his start originally with Ted Nugent. Okay, he ended up singing. I think it was on the Nugent album in '82. I could be wrong on this, but that's pretty much where he got his prominence started from. Maybe it was Penetrator. I'm not sure. It's one of the Atlantic Nugent albums. Okay, and so then he went from there and jumped to Bad Co. From '86 to I think about '92 here is about when he left. But good stuff like Holy Water and If You Needed Somebody, lots of good tunes on that one. And I got to see him play live. He opened up for Foreigner. That was a pretty good gig. He did really well. Let's see here. Also, Cinderella. Still Climbing. Yeah, that's right. This one here really didn't get too much press at the time on it. '94. Okay, so you're kind of talking about like mid '90s now, and I want to say this is the last album that they did for quite some time. I've yet to listen to this. I gotta see if that's gonna be any good. L.A. Guns, their first one. Tracy Guns and Company was really, really good, I think, back at the time. Also, who ended up playing drums for them, Steve Riley. If Steve Riley doesn't sound familiar to you, that's okay, because he's a drummer extraordinaire that seems to be in a lot of bands. He originally got his start in a band called The Boys, out of Illinois, Boyzz, on Epic Records, then shifted to The Bees, which was a continuation of that, followed by, and I hope I'm getting this order right, he then jumped to Wasp. He was the drummer of Wasp. He's gone back and forth between Wasp and L.A. Guns, I think, ever since then. And lastly, I've never seen a cassette of this one. Very, very cool. Dio's Strange Highway. That's right. And if I remember correctly, this one is from 95, I think. I hope I'm right on this. 94. And, you know, your lineup for this, there's the picture, okay? Your lineup, though, for this particular album, of course, Dio, Vinny Appice, all right, which was, you know, him and Dio were like this since the Black Sabbath days when, you know, he drummed for Mob Rules On. Tracy G on guitars. He was a teenager, okay, that Dio found. He always seemed to find really good guitar players, okay. If you remember, I mean, he started out with Vivian Campbell. He went from Vivian Campbell to Craig Goldie, who's back on the scene again, which is nice. Dio's Disciples is supposed to be an interesting tribute band to see. So let's see. You've got Viv Campbell to Craig Goldie to, I think, Rowan Robertson. I don't know if I'm getting this right. And then to Tracy G. And then also playing on bass, Jeff Pilson from Dokken and Foreigner later. So, I mean, you know, I cannot wait to listen to these. I love my hair metal. Always searching for hair metal. All right, guys. Shout outs, of course, Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark. Sunday night, 6 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And right after that, Night Owl Lounge with Mike Adams from 9 to 10 Central Standard. Please go like them both on Facebook. I know thousands of people have, and rightfully so. He is one of the best, if not the best, Sunday night radio show that's out there. You want ear candy for your soul? That's what you're going to get when you're listening to that. All right. Also, Thrifty Music Collectors. And you know what? Go check out Tim Smith's YouTube channel. He does shows too. T-Mec 1959, if I remember correctly, is the channel on that too for YouTube. Let's see what else here. I also want to thank, I did get a couple new subscribers. Thank you. And my views have actually gone up considerably. I am really happy about this. Let's keep asking people, you know, get your friends, get your enemies, get your frenemies to kindly please like and subscribe to Psycho's Platters. We are so close to 100. We're that close. Let's see. Also, Shindig and Vintage Rock magazine out of England. Love those two. That is some great reading right there. YouTube Vinyl Community. Don't forget to go subscribe to that too. Then you'll get into the network and the know of all of that stuff, guys. I'm always here for you guys. You know what? Just be good, keep rocking, and I'll see you next episode.